Hello everyone, welcome back to After Capture here. I'm going to be editing this recent photo I took at Marinas Nature Preserve. It's a little kind of religious property located at this place called Mount St. John. That's a much bigger complex, but it does have this very nicely small but very jam-packed full of different natural features of a nature preserve there. So I'm just going to edit this HDR image I took of just a dugout kind of meadow prairie habitat. And I feel like it's going to be a very nice one. I'm looking forward to it. So basically, the entire habitat was like this very nice, beautiful prairie habitat, and I noticed it pretty much was falling. I was chasing the light, essentially. That's the main thing I was trying to do here, and I just kept following up, and I was tracking through this kind of woodland kind of tract. I even went by some different kinds of like wetwoods, a small, very small wetland fend. And I went up this giant hill as I was chasing the light because I only had a few minutes left to really get set up and to take some sort of potential really sunrise composition there. And so I made it over the hill, and this is quite literally what I saw. So I've got 3 brackets here. I'm going to have it on auto alignment, and I simply exposed one of them for the sky detail, and then I got 2 down here, which actually... make it these 2, settle upon that. So yeah, I got one that exposed sky and one that exposed the foreground elements. And so this is pretty much what you'll see here in a moment. This is the view that I saw when I just went over that hill and I saw this spectacular sunrise that just occurred a few minutes right at the time I saw it. It hit over the horizon line there. And so it had this nice beautiful water kind of surrounding this nice little pool. It's like almost like a ring that you'll see in the image here. And that really just caught my eye as a potential landscape from where I was at, because I was up high on the edge of this kind of almost ridge that was surrounded by this tree line and this woodland here. And yeah, here you go. So you can really see the spectacular view of just this beautiful prairie tract. And so I was up high on this higher elevation, and if you look over to this side, you can see kind of where the trail goes, and it meanders actually throughout it actually kind of takes you down to this little ring of water down here. But this early in the morning, of course, all the birds were kind of singing, so you get tons of red-winged blackbirds, different kinds of just typical kind of wetland species like that. So they're all kind of hidden in this middle part down here, and they'd fly out outward and pretty much just stay on top of sedge grasses and catlands or in cattails. And so it was a nice, beautiful sunrise. As you can tell, it's kind of a little bit just after it, because you can just see the red face off. There's a cloud bank, a really small cloud bank at that, and then it just came over the horizon. But that sunburst, as you can tell, is entirely natural from the way I shot it, which was at f11, and then I had about 16 millimeters, which is a nice, wide, encompassing kind of angle of focal length I was really going for, because I wanted to capture all these different elements in the frame, just like these beautiful clouds that are just pulling themselves away really from the sun, and just have this almost kind of like negative space on the left side here, but really it's just putting more emphasis on the sun here. And then you got the nice foreground detail with the kind of almost warm colors of the browns in the grasses there, and then of course the water ring. So there's a lot going on. And then you got the green kind of sliver of a tree line that kind of hits right in the middle of the frame in the horizon there, and it just stretches right across. So as you can tell, there's a lot of different things that are going on here, stuff that I really like, all the kind of the different elements, but it all kind of works together here. I will say though, right off the bat, as you can tell, and this is typical of raw files like this, is that it's very washed out. It's very flat. Doesn't really have a really attractive color going on here. So I think what I'm going to do here is just really pump out that warmth and the colors, and to really just kind of make it look like how I saw it when I was in the field capturing that image, because this is a very bright, warm kind of sunrise that I was really looking forward to for a nice early spring here. So I'm going to start with these little filters down here. As you can tell, it's a little too saturated and washed out, so I'm going to just ever so slightly. I'm just going to use this one a little bit more a little more subtly. Okay, that might be good, but we'll fine tune that here in a moment. Let me mention I'm also using Skylum software. I'm using Skylum Aurora HDR. It's a beautiful piece of software. I really enjoy using it to edit batches and brackets of images like this, and just it's magic almost how it just compiles it all together. Pretty much works just about every time. Anything I throw at it, it auto aligns it. It makes it look really good. So I really can't complain. It's really powerful software, and it's at a very affordable price as well. So we're just going to bump up the clarity here. Now the colors. See, there's like this color slider down here. You could do certain things like, see how if I go all the way down, it kind of looks like how we started. It's really washed out, but if you pump it back, see what I like is you get these nice orange and yellow tones, especially surrounding that sun and underneath it. And then it kind of gradually, if you just focus on the sky, just isolate that part, you almost got it on the left side. It's kind of like an orange kind of tones to it, but then it gets a little bit of the blues, especially up in that right hand corner from the cloud coverage. That's what I kind of like about this. There's a nice kind of duality. It doesn't really feel like they're competing, but it's just like a nice harmonious with the orange, the warm, and the cool colors. And then you get that kind of vibrant, like I said, the sunlight hitting, especially in the foreground. If you look in the bottom right, you get this kind of like the sunrise is hitting those grasses there, and it just makes more a luminous kind of orange color to them. So as you can tell also from, I know I keep jumping around, but the ISO 100 was just pretty effective. I was having sufficient amount of light. I didn't want to overexpose as well this entire foreground and the tree line. I want to kind of keep it underexposed, keep a more low-key kind of image. I guess you could say I wanted to put more emphasis on the sunrise and the more cloud, pretty much everything in the upper half of the frame. So I kind of let this get purposely underexposed down here, and I feel like it looks a lot better that way. Because if you over even expose all parts of the frame when you're making a high dynamic range image like this, then it just kind of gets too much. There's a lack of shadows, which means there's a lack of depth, and that's definitely something I want to avoid. So I wanted to keep more of a darker kind of, I guess, look or feel to the surrounding image and the part below of it. Histogram looks pretty nice. There's not too much clipping or really much at all going on. There's a little bit on that right edge, but that's okay. I think what I'm looking for, yes, HSL, hue saturation luminance. So I'm just going to pick out a few colors here. You see the orange, might be a little too much. I definitely want to pump it out a lot more though. Now you can see it really brings back more of the color there. Yeah, it was a nice sunrise. I was really pleasantly surprised. I'm usually pretty bad about sunrises and trying to get up early and to really photograph them, or at least being on time to the location. And not only that, but then getting to a spot, whether it's premeditated or not, and then just setting up and really taking that image. So this is a nice little surprise, a nice little change of pace from not getting an image at all. So I just saw this, like I said, I just saw this right before my eyes, sun hitting up. It just, everything kind of laid itself out, all the elements, and I feel like it really worked out in this case. So I'm very fortunate for that, because I typically am more of a kind of sunsets kind of photographer, just because you have more time to really see how the light changes, and I feel like there's less surprises to really screw you up or anything, and you just have more time to prepare. So with that being said, I think what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take these called curves, and this is a tone curve, and I'm just going to take the red, so anything in the red range, as you can see it. But like I said, I kind of want to keep that blue. I don't know why, but it's really kind of speaks to me. It's a nice little challenge, I guess, because you got all these curves, and what you can do is you can drag them, as you can see. And it's weird. They kind of alter parts of the image. So you see, I got the second curve over here. It's really, yeah. I was about to say it's really subtle, but then I did a drastic movement. So I'm gonna keep it really low key, like I said, and just keep it towards the top. I'm not going to mess with the green one at all either. So basically what that does is just change the color temperature, essentially. That's all it's really trying to do, at least. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah, we'll call it quits. Alright. Title it Meadow Sunrise. Sounds good to me. Alright. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this little image here. If you want to see the video where I took this image on location, I'll put a link down in the description. You can watch that. It's also on my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, make sure to edit your photos here. Thank you.
Thank you.